What if everything you thought you knew about success and happiness was completely wrong? This is the story that will change how you see the world forever. 10 years after that parking garage miracle, James and Rachel had built an empire of hope. But they were about to discover that their greatest test was still ahead. This is part 2 of The Hidden Benefactor. In part 1, we saw how a warehouse worker and a secret billionaire CEO met in a hospital parking garage at 3 a.m. Both had dying children. Both were broken. Their friendship changed everything. James's son got life-saving surgery, and together they built a foundation that saved hundreds of children. But today's story is about what happened next, about how their legacy grew beyond anything they imagined, and about the moment when everything they built was threatened. It was a Tuesday morning when Rachel got the call that would shake her world. She was in a board meeting at Morrison Industries when her assistant interrupted. Something she never did. "Ms. Morrison, it's urgent. It's about the foundation." Rachel's heart stopped. She excused herself and took the call. "Ms. Morrison, this is Agent Davis from the FBI. We need to talk about the Lucas and Victoria Foundation. There's been an allegation." The word hung in the air like poison. Allegation. Someone was claiming the foundation was a front for money laundering, that Rachel had created it to hide illegal financial activities, that every child they'd helped, every family they'd saved, it was all a cover for corruption. Rachel felt the room spin. 10 years of work, hundreds of saved lives, all about to be destroyed by a lie. The investigation moved fast. Federal agents showed up at the foundation offices. They seized financial records. They interviewed families. The media picked up the story within hours. Billionaire CEO under investigation for charity fraud. Emma called James, panicking. "Dad, they're saying we're criminals. They're saying we exploited sick children for tax benefits." James couldn't believe it. He called Rachel immediately. "Who would do this?" he demanded. "Who would try to destroy something so beautiful?" Rachel's voice was cold. "I know exactly who. His name was Marcus Webb, Rachel's ex-husband, Victoria's father, the man who'd abandoned his dying daughter 10 years ago. He's broke," Rachel explained to James. "His new businesses failed. He's drowning in debt. And he found out about the foundation's success, about how much good we've done." "So he wants money?" James asked. "Worse, he wants revenge. Revenge for me moving on, for building something meaningful without him, for proving that Victoria didn't need him to survive." Marcus Webb wasn't just making accusations. He'd hired lawyers. He'd fabricated documents. He'd found disgruntled former employees willing to lie for money. He claimed that Rachel had created fake medical cases, that James was in on the scam, that they'd stolen donations meant for sick children. "He's smart," Rachel told James as they met in their old hospital cafeteria, the place where it all began. "He knows how to manipulate the system. He knows that even if we're innocent, the investigation alone could destroy us." "What about Victoria?" James asked. "Does she know her father is doing this?" Rachel's eyes filled with tears. "She called me yesterday. She's devastated. She's in medical school, trying to save children's lives. And her father is trying to destroy the foundation that saved hers." The pressure was crushing. Donors started pulling funding. Families who needed help were turned away. The hospital they'd built was at risk of closing. Everything they'd worked for was crumbling. But James and Rachel weren't going to give up. Not now. Not after everything they'd been through. We have the truth, James said. Every family we've helped. Every child who's alive because of us. That's our evidence. They hired the best lawyers. They gathered documentation of every case, every dollar spent, every life saved. Emma worked day and night compiling testimonials from families. Lucas, now a successful animator, created a video. It showed hundreds of children the foundation had helped, all healthy, all thriving. Their parents telling stories of hope and survival. This is what the foundation means, Lucas's video proclaimed. These are real children, real families, real lives saved. The video went viral. 20 million views in 3 days. The public started to turn. But Marcus wasn't done. He played his final card. Marcus found James's old financial records from 10 years ago. The payments Rachel had made to set up the fake foundation that saved Lucas. And he twisted the narrative. James Chun knew about the deception from the start, Marcus's lawyers claimed. He was complicit in creating a fraudulent charity. He benefited first, then helped perpetuate the fraud. It was technically true. James had accepted money from a foundation Rachel created specifically for him. Out of context, it looked exactly like what Marcus was claiming. James sat with his lawyer, devastated. I was just trying to save my son. Rachel was just trying to help. How did it become this? The truth doesn't matter if it looks bad, his lawyer said grimly. And this looks really bad. Rachel refused to let James take the fall. I'll confess to everything, she told her legal team. I'll say James knew nothing. I'll shut down the foundation. Whatever it takes to protect him and keep helping children. No, James said firmly when he found out. We started this together. We fight together. We end this together, whatever that ending is. The hearing was scheduled for a Thursday morning. Federal prosecutors, FBI agents, Marcus's lawyers, all assembled to decide the foundation's fate. But someone else showed up. Someone nobody expected. Victoria Morrison walked into that courtroom wearing her medical school white coat. Behind her were 50 other people. Doctors, nurses, former patients, families. Your Honor, Victoria said, her voice steady and strong. I'm Dr. Victoria Morrison, well, almost doctor. I'm the daughter Marcus Webb abandoned when I was 13 years old because he couldn't handle having a sick child. The room went silent. The foundation they're trying to destroy is named after me and Lucas Chin. We were the first children saved. Not by fraud, not by deception, but by two broken parents who found each other in the darkest moment and decided to help each other. Victoria turned to look at her father. You left me when I was dying. Rachel Morrison and James Chen stayed. They fought. They built something beautiful from their pain. And you want to destroy it because you're bitter that I survived without you. One by one, families testified. Parents who would have lost their children without the foundation's help. Kids who were now healthy, thriving, living the lives they'd been denied. My daughter is alive because of them, one father said, crying. We had nothing. Nobody would help us. The Lucas and Victoria Foundation saved her life. How is that fraud? Emma took the stand. I'm Emma Chin. 10 years ago, I was 16 years old, watching my little brother die because we couldn't afford his surgery. Rachel Morrison saved him. She did it anonymously with kindness and grace. Then she built something bigger. Something that saved hundreds of kids like Lucas. Lucas presented his art, portraits of every child the foundation had helped. 200 faces, 200 lives. This is what they're calling fraud, Lucas said. These children, these families, this hope. The FBI agent who'd started the investigation stood up. Your Honor, after reviewing all evidence and testimonials, the Bureau is dropping all charges. There's no fraud here. There's just extraordinary compassion. But they weren't done. Rachel's lawyers had been busy too. They'd discovered that Marcus himself had committed fraud, real fraud. He'd stolen money from his own business partners. He'd falsified documents to hide his debts. Marcus Webb initiated this investigation to deflect from his own criminal activities, Rachel's lawyer revealed. He weaponized the legal system to attack his ex-wife and daughter because they succeeded without him. Marcus was arrested that day, not for making false accusations, though he should have been, but for his actual crimes. The crimes he'd tried to hide by destroying Rachel and James. Victoria watched her father being led away in handcuffs. She didn't cry. She didn't smile. She just turned to Rachel. Thank you for being the parent he never was. Rachel hugged her daughter tight. You didn't need me to save you. You saved yourself. I just walked beside you. The foundation didn't just survive. It exploded. The publicity from the trial brought national attention. Donations flooded in. Within 6 months, they'd opened 3 more children's hospitals. Morrison Industries became a model for corporate responsibility. James was promoted to Chief People Officer, a position created specifically for him. His job was simple. Make sure no employee ever felt invisible or unheard. You changed how I see business, Rachel told him. It's not about profit margins. It's about people. It's always been about people. Emma's work at the foundation expanded. She created a network of family support groups, connecting people facing similar struggles. She wrote a book about her experience that became a bestseller. Lucas's art program grew into a national initiative. Hospitals across the country used his curriculum to help children process trauma through creativity. 10 years became 15, then 20. The foundation helped over 10,000 children. The hospitals they built served entire communities. The programs they created changed how America thought about healthcare and compassion. Rachel never remarried. I have everything I need, she said. Family, purpose, impact. James did remarry, a kind woman he met while volunteering at the foundation. She understood his mission because she'd once been a single mother facing impossible medical bills. The foundation had saved her son too. Their children, Emma, Lucas, Victoria, became leaders in their own right. Emma ran the foundation. Lucas created therapeutic art programs worldwide. Victoria became one of the country's leading pediatric oncologists. And every year, on the anniversary of that first meeting in the parking garage, James and Rachel returned to that spot. They sat in the cafeteria with terrible coffee and remembered how it all began. Sometimes I can't believe we almost missed each other, James said one night. What if I'd driven away? What if I hadn't heard you crying? But you didn't, Rachel said. And that's what matters. We found each other. We saved each other. And then we saved everyone we could. The real miracle wasn't the money. It wasn't the hospitals or the foundation or the thousands of lives saved. The real miracle was simple. 2 broken people chose compassion over despair. They chose to see each other's humanity. They chose to carry each other's burdens. They chose to build something bigger than themselves. And that choice, that one simple choice in a dark parking garage at 3 a.m., created ripples that spread further than they ever imagined. Today, there are Lucas and Victoria Foundation chapters in all 50 states. There are Morrison Children's Hospitals in 12 cities. There are millions of dollars in medical debt forgiven. Thousands of children alive who would have died. All because a warehouse worker stopped to check on a stranger crying in her car. All because a billionaire chose honesty over pride. All because two people remembered that beneath everything, wealth, status, power, we're all just humans trying to protect the people we love. James Chun is now 72 years old. Still working, still volunteering, still finding people in parking garages who need hope. Rachel Morrison is 78. Still running Morrison Industries with James at her side. Still ensuring that every employee is treated with dignity and compassion. Lucas is a 42-year-old father of 3, teaching his children that art can heal the world. Emma is 46, running the foundation that now has an endowment of over $300 million. Victoria is 45, one of the world's foremost experts in pediatric cancer, saving children the way she was once saved. And somewhere tonight, in a hospital parking garage, someone is sitting in their car with their head in their hands, wondering how they'll survive. Maybe someone will stop. Maybe someone will care. Maybe that simple act of kindness will change everything. Because that's how miracles work. Not through grand gestures or supernatural intervention, but through ordinary people making the extraordinary choice to love each other through the darkness. This is the Hidden Benefactor Part 2. If the story inspired you, subscribe and share it with someone who needs to remember that their small acts of kindness matter more than they know. Drop a comment telling me about a time someone showed you unexpected kindness. Let's remind each other that good people still exist. Thank you for watching. And remember, you might be someone's miracle today.